Hello boys and girls, a very good evening and welcome to this live doubts clarification session on quantitative aptitude brought to you by Talent Sprint. I hope all of you are in good health and your preparation for the upcoming SSC CGL exam and the various bank exams which are expected to start in the month of October or from October onwards is in high gear, right? You all know that the SSC CGL Tier 1 exam, the notification for which was closed on 19th of last month, is tentatively scheduled from August 1 onwards, right? August 1 to August 20, right? So if you look at the window that we have, it is just about 3 weeks from now, right? Assuming that your exam is on the 1st of August. So given that there's just 3 weeks left for this exam, I'm sure your preparation is, in the highest gear, and you're trying to do everything possible, leave no stone unturned, and practice as much as you can so that you can improve your scores and boost your chances in this exam, right? You know that those who all clear the Tier 1 exam in the month of August will be called for Tier 2, which is the second phase, right? And then those who all clear Tier 2 will be called for interview subsequently. So it's very important that you be prepared, fully prepared for each of these rounds, especially the Tier 1, which has got 4 subjects in it, right? Quantitative aptitude, general intelligence and reasoning, and English comprehension and general awareness, right? I would also like to mention about the SSC CGL refresher that we have started, right? I'm sure all of you have been participating in those refresher sessions as well, right? I guess we have already done one session on each of the subjects, right? One on English comprehension, one on general awareness, one on quantitative aptitude, and I think the one that we did yesterday, one on general intelligence and reasoning, and one on quantitative aptitude. And we have also had one special session for SSC CGL which was conducted yesterday on the topic of algebra, right? A lot of other sessions are planned. You can check out the events calendar in your dashboard and join these sessions accordingly, right? Also, the all India mock exams that we are conducting now are in the SSC CGL Tier 1 exam format. So make sure that you participate in these all India mock exams so that you can benchmark yourselves against the nationwide competition, and also get to know your performance and analytics through TR, which will help you get your personalized learning plan and some recommendations that can help you score more in the upcoming exams, right? Now, before we get into the session and before I explain you what exactly we are going to do here, let me quickly mention that there is this chat box which is right beside the video screen. And those who are new to these sessions, let me mention that you can use that chat box to interact with us. So at any point of time, if you feel like you have to ask a question or get something clarified, please feel free to post it there. I'll be more than happy to address your queries. And as usual, I see that a lot of you have joined the session already and also started engaging to the chat box. So make sure that you make the most out of the session by participating in this chat there, right? So while the output is video, the input that we have is the comments that you give in the chat. So whether you're able to solve a question or not able to solve a question, please keep me posted so that I'll be able to gauge how complex a question is for you all and accordingly give you a detailed explanation, right? If it really demands for, right? Let me quickly read out a few of the names who have joined the chat here. And I'm sure they should encourage others also to participate. We have Sumit Kumar Pandit, Raji, Abhishek, Venkatesh, Preeti Dubey, Sarat Chandranath, Sujit Surya, Ramya, Smriti Priyanka, Anubha, Deepak, Amit Kumar, Vishnu Priya. Then we have Gayatri, Adarsh, Shrikant, Sagar Singh, right? And Harsha, many others there. Harsha, Priyank, Naveen, Isha, Kritika Datta, Vaishnavi, Nayan and others. Yeah. All right. While I read out your names, I see a comment here from Gayatri which reads that the SSC CGL refresher has not been uploaded yet. Well, Gayatri, I'm afraid that I'm not aware of this development here. If you are referring to the SSC CGL refresher that was done yesterday, it might not have been updated yet because it usually takes 24 working hours. So you'll have to allow us some time for that. But any of the earlier refresher sessions should have been uploaded already. If not, I request our support team to please expedite the process and ensure that these archives are added in their account, right? We have AJ here who says, good evening, I'm meeting you after a long time. Well, AJ, good evening. Yeah, well, I don't recall you participating in any of the sessions conducted recently, so looks like yes, you have joined after a long time. Welcome back. Anubha says, I have enrolled for bank exam preparation course, so no refreshers for SSC, no access to the SSC refreshers. Well, I guess Anubha, we have changed our policy, and as per the new terms and conditions, even if you have enrolled for a bank exam prep, you get access to these refresher sessions, because we have figured out that most of the students who appear for bank exams also take up these other exams like SSC, CGL, etc. So you do have access to these sessions as well. These are like regular sessions held on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. So just log into your account, and I'm sure you'll find it there. You may not have access to the special sessions being done for SSC, CGL, but the refresher sessions which are held on Tuesdays, Thursdays are being made available to all the students irrespective of what program they've enrolled for. Okay. Yeah, many others there: Ashwin, Nidhi Mishra, Jeevan, Prabhakar Paul, Ashish, Priyanka Singh, Mahesh Kumar, Vishnu Sai, Sudipta, Sarika, Anand Bhairav, Mahata, Nisha, and others there. I'm just trying to read out a few of the comments before we get into the session. Vishnu Priya has asked us something here. Can we skip simple interest and compound interest for IBPS? Well, I would not recommend that. I mean, why do you want to skip a topic at all in the first place for your IBPS exams? And that too, of all the topics, why do you want to skip simple and compound interest? Because if you look at a video that we have uploaded for this topic, it's very easy to solve questions, right? Whether it is from simple interest or compound interest, you can just use those percentages techniques that we have discussed and arrive at the answers very quickly. Of course, the type of questions being asked these days are more complex, but then I don't suggest that you should be planning to skip any topic in your preparation in the first place, right? Whether it is simple or compound interest, or time and work, or time and distance, or profit and loss, you should be prepared with all the topics. I mean, what will happen? Usually it carries a weightage of 1 mark, right? We can at best expect one question from this topic of simple and compound interest, right? And again, having said that, let me also mention that you never know. I mean, the most predictable thing about bank or SSC exams is unpredictable, right? Tomorrow in your IBPS exam, they may ask you 7 questions on simple interest or 7 questions on simple and compound interest. So that way we can never predict what is going to happen, but you have to be prepared for the worst. So why do you want to skip the topic? You have to give me a reason for that. Yeah. Okay, we have Meenakshi here who's mentioned that please conduct classes for the KVB PO exams also, right? The Karur Vysya Bank's PO exam. Well, Meenakshi, I'm not sure if the time will allow us to do so, but let us just look at it, right? We'll see the calendar and try and see if we can do. I mean, I'm not sure if we'll be able to do subject level sessions for KVB PO exam, but maybe a exam strategy session which will help you how to, perform during that exam there, right? Okay, anything else? Shall we get started? How's your preparation, by the way? I think that's very important. I would like to understand what are your challenges at this point of time when you're just 3 weeks away from the exam. Of course, admit cards have not been released yet. Your exam may be on August 1 or on August 20, right? Or any date between August 1 to August 20. So a large part of your preparation depends on the exam date. Basically, the last week's strategy or the last few days of strategy depends on what date your exam is going to happen, right? But until we know that, I think we should be prepared for the worst. So assume that your exam is on August 1 itself, right? If it comes out to be August 5 or August 10 or August 8, then that's a bonus, right? You get 1 extra week to prepare. But when you're strategizing your preparation at this point of time, make sure that you keep in mind that your exam is on August 1, right? On 1st of August. And try to try to plan a strategy accordingly, right? Try to make a calendar according to August 1 is the deadline, right? I'm hoping that all of you have already finished the topics by now, right? Meaning learning all the concepts, fundamentals, basic methods, techniques, etc. All we have to do is just more and more practice. Rishu says, how will I know that on which chapter or topic today's problems taken by sir, and how can I ask my problems, doubts, if any? I only get an SMS and a message on the dashboard about problem solving class. So Rishu Goyal is the one who has posted this, and I think there are many other students like Rishu who are probably confused about how to participate in these live sessions. So I think there are two questions that Rishu has asked here. One is about how do we know what questions are being solved in the session today, and number two is about how should I ask my doubts, right? Let me answer your second question first, right? How do I get my doubts clarified? What is a medium to get our questions clarified? So Rishu, if you see in every course of your account here, every course of your program that you get access to through Talent Sprint has got a discussion forum, right? Like for example, when you log into Quantitative Aptitude, when you click the Quantitative Aptitude course, on top you find various tabs: courseware, course info, mock test, or different things there, progress report, and then there is something called as students discussion forum. Now that is where you post your questions, right? If you have any question from any topic, just go to the relevant forum and post it there. Like let's say you have a doubt in time and distance. Go to the Quantitative Aptitude course, select the topic as time and distance, and post your question. If you have a doubt in blood relations, right? So go to the reasoning ability course, select the topic as blood relations, and post your question, right? And it is from there that we choose the questions for our problem solving sessions. So that's exactly what we're going to do now. So your second question is answered. How do you get your doubts clarified? Post it in the forum. Either we answer it in the forum itself or take it up in the live session like what we'll do today. The second question is about what questions will we solve. Now, the questions that we solve now will be presented to you, right? I mean, these are not made available in advance, but you'll be given time to try it out yourself first, and then I'll discuss the solution. Okay. All right, so I think we have spent enough time on general discussion. If there's anything very important, let me take it up, or else we can just move to the problem solving session, right? Nagraj here, by the way, has mentioned that this is my first live session, so I'm glad about your enrollment here, Nagraj. Thank you for joining us, and I'm sure your preparation using Talent Sprint's platform for bank and SEC exams is going to be a great experience. Please keep sharing your valuable feedback with us as you move forward, so that we can help you improve, right? Yeah. Anything else? Shall we start now? We have a comment from Tiwari here who says the 1st July's All India mock exam was quite tough. This difficulty level matches to which bank exam? Well, Tiwari, I think the exam that was conducted on 1st of July was in the Talent Sprint format, right? Because there is no upcoming bank exam immediately. So you can't really say which exam does it match to, but yes, with more and more difficult questions being asked these days in exams, I think the idea is to keep you prepared for the same through these all India mock exams. Chalo, so let's get started. I think a lot of you have already joined. What I'll do now is share my screen, which has got these questions chosen from the discussion forums of Quantitative Aptitude courses. I'll present you the questions one after the other, give you some time to try this question yourself, and then discuss the solution. All right. My question, in fact, to all of you was, how's your preparation about the SSC CGL exam? Not many of you have responded to that. But the one thing that I would like to mention myself is, make sure that you spend a lot of time in the next 3 weeks, right? At least 20-25 hours in the next 3 weeks. Overall 20-25 hours in the next 3 weeks on practicing calculations, right? On improving your numerical skills, because believe me, the basic reason why most of the students fail to score more in quantitative aptitude, you may clear the sectional cutoff, that's not a big challenge, but if you really want to make it a score booster, right? If you want to treat this section as score booster, and if you aim to score more, then you have to work on your numerical skills, because the biggest culprit in these exams is paperwork. The more you put on pen on paper, the more time it takes, right? So make sure that you you practice for at least 45 minutes to 60 minutes every day on calculations. We have already made a video on speed maths and simplifications and approximations, right? A lot of techniques have been discussed there. So go through those videos first, learn all those techniques and practice on those techniques every day on a daily basis. And I'm sure you'll find a difference in a couple of weeks from now. You'll feel that yes, you're getting better at it, right? The whole idea is to avoid paperwork, cut down on the number of steps that you put on paper, right? And we usually, I've observed many times, right? Calculations as simple as 23 into 14 are done on paper. Now 23 into 14, if you do on paper, you're not fit for these exams. I don't want to sound discouraging here, but that's the fact. If you cannot multiply 23 with 14 without paper, without putting pen on paper, then you have already lost the race. You are not in the race anymore, right? It's very simple. You can do it mentally, right? There are techniques which have been discussed through the video. Just go through that. I would not explain it here. But the point is, by the time you write 23 and 14 on paper, when you do it yourself, right? By the time you write 23, 2, 3, 23 and 1, 4, 14 on paper, there are people who have already multiplied and got the answer mentally. How are you going to beat them, right? You're already out of the race. They have gone ahead of you, right? Paperwork is a sheer waste of time. So avoid doing that. And the only way to avoid that is to practice more and more on doing calculations mentally. By the way, 23 into 14 is very easy. 14 is not 14. 14 is 10 plus 4. So 23 into 14 should be treated as 23 into 10 plus 23 into 4. You're getting it? What's the whole idea? The number 23 has to be collected 14 times. What do you mean by A into B? Right? When we talk about a product, A and B, when we talk about multiplying two numbers A and B, what happens? The product is AB. What does it mean? This particular number A has been collected B times, or the number B has been collected A times. That gives you AB. So when we say 23 into 14, what do you have to do? The number 23 has to be collected 14 times. It's a serial addition, right? You add 23, 23, 23, 23. How many times? 14 times. So the number 23 has to be collected 14 times. Or you can look at it the other way, right? The number 14 has to be collected 23 times. Either ways, you get the same answer. Now, collecting it 14 times is going to be difficult. Instead, you break 14 into two parts, 10 plus 4. So instead of taking it 14 times in one shot, you take it 10 times first, then take it 4 times, and then do the addition, right? So the whole idea is split and merge. You first split the number, do the individual calculations, and then merge the results to get the final answer. So 23 into 14 is 23 into 10 plus 23 into 4. 23 into 10, 230, doesn't take any time, right? Ready-made answer. 23 into 4. Now 23 into 4 again is very easy. It's 92. How do you multiply? Again, multiplication with 4 can be done in multiple ways. I usually do into 2 into 2. Into 4 is as good as into 2 into 2. So you double and then double again, right? Like for example, 3 into 4. We all know that the answer is 12. But try to do it this way. Double 3, you get 6. Double 6, you get 12. So double and double. This way, the idea is instead of taking one long jump, you take 2 short jumps. It looks like a lengthy process, but you actually get the answer much faster here, right? 2 quick jumps instead of taking one long jump. So instead of taking it as into 4, take it as into 2 and into 2. So what happens? 23 into 4, 23 into 2, 46, double 46, double 46, it becomes 92, right? So we have already got 230, 23 into 10, 230, and then 23 into 4, 92. Now 230 plus 92 have to be merged, right? Splitting has been done. Now you merge 230 plus 92. 230 plus 92 is 322. Again, adding 92 might sound a little complex. Don't add 92, add 100. 92 is very close to 100, right? So try to add 100, because again, the idea is what? 92 is not 92. 92 is 100 minus 8, right? It's 100 minus 8. So instead of adding 92, you add 100 and then subtract 8, right? Adding 92 is difficult, but adding 100 doesn't take any time. Subtract 8 from that, you get the answer. So you've already got 230 plus 100, 330 minus 8, 322. And there you are, right? 23 into 14 is 322. Now, explanation has taken some time, but when you do it yourself, it gives you the answer in about 2 to 3 seconds, not more than that, right? And yes, this actually is a simple example, but you have to start from the very basic ones, right? So start with these simple 2-digit numbers multiplication and then keep practicing on more and more complex ones, all right? So that's the whole idea. I'm sure all of you will start doing it immediately if you haven't started it already. And yes, there are speed maths tests available on a daily basis in your account. So just take those tests as well. It will help you practice more and more. Now let me share the screen and present the first question from your quantitative aptitude doubts clarification session for the day. Here we go. All right. So here's the first question. This was posted by Sampurna. This question was posted by Sampurna, and this one's from Pipes and Systems, right? Looks like it's from Pipes and Systems. Yeah, there's a request that we should provide a timer on the speed math test as well. Well guys, we are working on it. Please give us some time. So here's the first question. Pipes and systems, see what it is. A bath can be filled by the cold water pipe in 40 minutes and by the hot water pipe in 60 minutes. A person leaves the bathroom after turning on both pipes simultaneously and returns at the moment when the bath should be full. Finding, however, that the waste pipe has been open, he now closes it. In 12 minutes more, the bath is full. So in what time would the waste pipe empty it? In what time would the waste pipe empty it? Options have been given here: 32 minutes, 58 minutes, 48 minutes, 54 minutes, none of this. There's some formatting error here. This is option 4, right? So these are the 5 options: 32, 58, 48, 54, and none of these. I'll give you about a minute to try this. Your time starts now. Time and work or pipes and systems. Let's see how many of you get the right answer. Okay, option 5. Vinay has got option 5, none of these. Nayan says there should be 48 minutes, which is option 3. Waiting for others to respond here. Got it? Okay, Sagar Singh has also got 48 minutes. Vaibhav has got 48 minutes, which is option 3, I guess. Waiting for a few more responses before we take it up, right? And you know, those who all are not able to solve, have got stuck, please specify the same here in the chat so that I can, you know how complex it is for, I mean, how easy or difficult it is for you guys, right? Got the answer? Yeah, looks like most of you have got 48 minutes. There was one person initially who said 50, option 5 as the answer there. But after that, I think Monica, Amit Kumar, Pooja Sri, Vinay, Ajit, Neeraj, Srinu, all of you have got 48, right? Ramya, Sudipta, Balaji, Ashish, Rishika, Milan. Right. So let's look at the solution now. Let's take up the question now, right? Okay, Sudipta here has got 24 minutes, but I think the majority says 48. So here we go. The question is, bath can be filled by cold water pipe in 40 minutes and by the hot water pipe in 60 minutes. A person leaves the bathroom after turning on both pipes simultaneously and returns at the moment when the bath should be full. Finding, however, that the waste pipe has been opened, he now closes it. In 12 minutes more, the bath is full. In what time would the waste pipe empty it? In what time would the waste pipe empty it? Right. So if you read and understand the question, important parts of the question, he says there is a bathtub, let's say, which can be filled by the cold water pipe in 40 minutes and by the hot water pipe in 60 minutes. So there are two pipes here, pipe A and pipe B, like our usual case, right? So one pipe takes 40 minutes to fill the tank or the tub, and the other pipe takes 60 minutes, right? Takes 60 minutes. Now a person leaves the bathroom after turning on both pipes simultaneously, right? You have turned on both the pipes simultaneously and returns at the moment when the bath should be full. He returns at what moment? He returns at the moment when he knows that the bath should be full. So basically we have to find out, first of all, how much time will these two pipes together take to fill the tub, to fill the bath. You're able to follow? I mean, this person also knows that it takes so much time to fill the bath, so he returns at that moment exactly, right? Now you know that when two pipes are working together, or when two persons are working together, A and B are working together, the time required by both A and B together is AB by A plus B. I mean, that's like the shortcut, right? AB by A plus B. Or you can do 1 by A plus 1 by B. So let's say the pipe A here takes 40 minutes and pipe B takes 60 minutes. So when both of them are working together, the time required will be AB by A plus B, right? So simplify this, 40 into 60 upon 40 plus 60. So how much is this? 40 into 60 is 2, I mean, this denominator is 100, right? This, let's say it's 100, 40 plus 60 is 100. So zeros get cancelled. We are left with 4 into 6, 24. So the idea is that when both the pipes are open simultaneously, cold water pipe and the hot water pipe are open simultaneously, it takes 24 minutes to fill the bath. Now this person returns at the moment when the bath should be full. That means he returns after 24 minutes, right? He returns after 24 minutes. At the moment when the bath should be full can be replaced with after 24 minutes now, because the bath should be full after 24 minutes. What does he find? After returning, he finds that the wastewater pipe has been opened. There was another pipe, the wastewater pipe or the waste pipe, which was open, which was left open, and he now closes it. So he realizes that one more pipe has been kept open, waste pipe. And remember, waste pipe is an outlet. The first two pipes are inlet. The cold water pipe and the hot water pipe are inlet pipes. But the waste pipe is an outlet pipe. So that waste pipe has been kept open and he now closes it. He has now closed the waste pipe. In 12 minutes more, so from now onwards, it takes 12 minutes more for the bath to be full. For the bath to be full. In what time would the waste pipe empty it? In what time would the waste pipe empty it? Right? Let's figure this out now. Simple. I think you don't have to do any more calculation. The only calculation that we need to do in this entire solution is this 24 minutes. Once you have done this 24 minutes calculation, you can now answer the question without putting pen on paper. How do we do that? Just look at it. See, we know that both the pipes A and B together, both the inlet pipes A and B together can fill the bath in 24 minutes. So this person comes after 24 minutes. He realizes that for 24 minutes, not only A and B were kept open, but also the waste pipe was kept open, which was an outlet pipe. So in these 24 minutes, in the first 24 minutes, how many pipes are working? 3 pipes are working. The inlet pipe A, inlet pipe B, and also the outlet pipe. The outlet pipe, which is the waste pipe, right? Even this was working for 24 minutes, in the first 24 minutes. Now he closes this pipe. After 24 minutes, he closes this outlet pipe. Now, when this outlet pipe is closed, only 2 pipes are working after that. Once you have closed the outlet pipe, there are only 2 pipes working after that, right? A and B. It takes 12 minutes more for the bath to be full. It takes 12 minutes more for the bath to be full. See, try and understand. We know that A and B can do the full job in 24 minutes. They can do the full work. Full work is what? 1 unit of work. They can do 1 unit of work. They can fill the bath in 24 minutes. So how much work do you think they will do in 12 minutes? They will do half of the work. Yes or no? If they can do the full work in 24 minutes, in 12 minutes they will be doing half of the work, which means in 12 minutes more the bath is full. So what did they do in these 12 minutes? They have done half of the work, which means they have filled half of the bath in 12 minutes. Now the fact that they have filled half of the bath in this extra 12 minutes tells us that in the first 24 minutes only half of the bath was full. Already half was full. In 12 minutes more they have filled the remaining half. Now in the first 24 minutes, if only half was full, what do you understand? See, ideally in the first 24 minutes the bath should have been completely filled, because A and B can do it in 24 minutes, but the waste pipe was also open, which means in the first 24 minutes instead of the full work they could do only half of the work. Why only half of the work? Because the waste pipe, the outlet pipe, has emptied half of the tank. Yes or no? In 24 minutes the bathtub should have been full, but we have realized that in 24 minutes the bathtub was only half filled. Why was it half filled? Because the outlet pipe removed half of the water from the bathtub. In how many minutes? 24 minutes. Which means the outlet pipe can remove half of the water, or the outlet pipe can empty half of the bath in 24 minutes. If it can empty half of the bath in 24 minutes, in what time would the waste pipe empty it fully? In 48 minutes. That's your answer. I hope all of you have followed. It is just one calculation that we need to do. 40 into 60 by 40 plus 60. 24 minutes you get. After this, it is all, your mental understanding. You don't have to put pen on paper. I'll repeat the explanation once again and then also put some steps, because I can sense that some of you may not follow verbal explanation. So I'll put some steps on paper, but let me repeat what I'm trying to say here, right? Because unless you follow this smart method of cutting down, number of steps, and doing the solution mentally, you will not be able to score more in the exam. So it's important that you should be able to figure out the answers without writing all the steps. There are two pipes, A and B, and there is a third pipe, outlet pipe. We know that A can do the work in 40 minutes, B can do it in 60 minutes. So both A and B together can do it in 24 minutes. Whether you follow AB by A plus B or 1 by A plus 1 by B, any method will give you the answer as 24 minutes. Which means A and B together can fill the tank in 24 minutes. A and B together can fill this tank in 24 minutes. That's the first point to be understood. Now this person has kept both A and B open, and he returns after 24 minutes. He returns at the moment when the bath should be full. So obviously he comes at that time. At what time? After 24 minutes, when the bath should be full. But he realizes that by mistake the outlet pipe was also open. Not only A and B, but the outlet pipe was also kept open. So far means what? For the first 24 minutes. So which means the understanding of the person was A and B are working, but actually A, B and outlet, all three were working in the first 24 minutes. And he now closes it. He comes into the bathroom after 24 minutes. He now closes the outlet pipe. And he finds that in 12 minutes more, in 12 more minutes, the bath is full. So the point is, after 24 minutes when you close the outlet pipe, only A and B are working. And he says A and B work for 12 minutes for the bath to be full. A and B work for 12 minutes for the bath to be full. To fill the bath. See, we know that A and B together can do the full job in 24 minutes. A and B together can do the full job in 24 minutes. So which means they will do half of the job in 12 minutes. Which means they have filled half of the bathtub in 12 minutes. If they have filled half of the bath in 12 minutes, it is obvious that in the first 24 minutes only half of the bathtub was filled. Why only half of the bathtub was filled? Actually it should have been full, but only half was filled because the outlet pipe was also working. So I can now conclude that in the first 24 minutes the outlet pipe could remove half of the water from the bathtub. In the first 24 minutes the outlet pipe could empty half of the bathtub. If it could empty half in 24 minutes, to empty full it will take 48 minutes, and that's your answer, option 3. Right? I hope all of you have followed the explanation. I have explained the same thing twice, and the only reason for me to do that is you should be doing the same in the exam. You cannot write one extra letter after finding out that the time required is 24 minutes. The question has been framed that way, right? You just don't have to put pen on paper after this. We can do right steps, but then what's the point, right? Whether you solve the question in 15 seconds or 60 seconds or 100 seconds, you get the same 1 mark, right? So, try to keep it simple. Now, let me see if you all have followed it. Otherwise, I'll also try and put some steps on paper to make it more clear, right? Did you all follow this? 48 is the correct answer. I'm glad that all of you have got 48 as the answer. My question to all those who have got 48 minutes is, did you do the full procedure or did you stop after 24 minutes? Yeah? Okay, somebody's asked me, Sanchali Goswami has asked me, what is the logic behind AB by A plus B? I will not answer that question, Sanchali. You just have to go and watch the time and work video. In your video of time and work, we have discussed, this is the first model of time and work where we have explained how to get the answer as AB by A plus B when two persons are working together, or ABC by AB plus BC plus CA when three persons are working together, right? Did you all understand this? Followed? Yeah, all of you followed. Sharmishta says, please explain once again. Well, I think I'll not be explaining the whole thing once again. I'll quickly put some steps so that you can follow it easily. Yeah, Sharmishta is the one who wants me to explain it once again. Rishika Menon, by the way, has mentioned that she has followed the full procedure. But Ajit, on the other hand, says, I stopped after 24 minutes calculation. Shinu also did the full procedure. So I think it's very important that you realize that you have wasted a lot of time, right, by doing the full procedure. It's not needed. Full procedure is not needed, right? So what I'll do is quickly do the so-called full procedure, which we don't have to do in the real scenario, right? So let me just do that and explain the solution to you all once again. Mohit says LCM method se kiya tha. No, not needed. LCM method or any other method is not needed. All we need to do is how much time will A and B together take. Anyway, so let me explain you the regular procedure. Having discussed the smart method already, which has given us 48 minutes answer, let me explain the regular procedure. So basically, if you understand, for the first 24 minutes, A, B and C were working, right? I mean, you just have to kind of write these steps, right? First 24 minutes, A, B, let me call it A. The cold water pipe is A, the hot water pipe is B, and let's say the waste pipe is C, right? So for the first 24 minutes, A, B and A, B, C were working, right? And then what happens? He closes it. He closes what? He closes C after 24 minutes. So in 12 minutes, the bath is full. Now in the next 12 minutes, only A and B are working. Only A and B were working. They were doing the job in the next 12 minutes. Now we know that A and B can do the full work in 24 minutes, right? If you look at A and B together, they can do full tank in 24 minutes. Which means in 12 minutes, they will do only half of the tank. Yes or no? How much will they do? In 24 minutes, if they do full tank, in 12 minutes, they'll do only half of the tank, right? So this will be equal to half of the tank. They filled half of the tank in 12 minutes, right? Now, if they filled half of the tank in 12 minutes, which means in the first 24 minutes, half was filled, right? Here, if half of the work was done, obviously here also half of the work was done, right? If they've done half of the work here in the second part, they've done half of the work in the first part. Now, in the first part in 24 minutes, what happens? A, B, C, all three were working, right? A, B, and C, all three are working, right? Now here, I think you can use the unitary method, right? See, try and understand. How to get, I mean, if you want to get the value, you can do it mentally. Like I said, in 24 minutes, A and B actually can do the full tank, but they were able to do only half, which means C has emptied the other half. If C has emptied half in 24 minutes, C will empty full in 48 minutes. That's the understanding I have, and I'm sure all of you have understood it. But otherwise, if you have to put pen on paper, what do? A's capacity is 1 by 40. The next step. B's capacity is 1 by 60. C's capacity, let's say minus 1 by C. We are taking negative sign here because C is doing a negative work, equals to 1 by 24. Solve for this now. So what happens? 1 by C comes out to be, I think I can take 120 as the LCM. So 40 goes 3 times, 60 goes 2 times, and yeah, 120 is LCM, right? Yeah. So 40 goes 3 times, yeah, 60 goes 2 times, and 24 goes 5 times. What is wrong? 1 by 40 plus 1 by 60 minus 1 by 6 equals to 1 by 24. Something is wrong. Hold on. Why am I not getting it this way? I'm actually making it complex by doing this procedure, but let me also understand why is it not working. We have understood, see, so far we have understood that A and B have filled half of the tank. Just a second. I'm sorry, the pen again has stopped working like yesterday. Okay, just hold on, huh? Looks like there's some problem like what we had faced yesterday. I'm sure you have understood, right? Next, 48 minutes is the answer, but this has stopped working. This device again has stopped working. And it's already 6:45. Sorry, I'm waiting for this to respond. The software has stopped working. I wish at least we were on the next screen so that I could have left you all with the question, but it's not moving to the next screen. Okay, I think just give me a couple of minutes. I'll get the support fix this immediately. I know why we are not getting the answer in the last part, by the way, right? We did not consider the fact that only half of the work is being done in the first 24 minutes. So instead of taking 1/40 and 1/60, you should take 1/20 plus 1/30. See, we know that half of the work is done in first 24 minutes. So take 1/20 for pipe A, 1/30 for pipe B, because in 40 minutes they'll do the full work. So for doing half of the work, they'll take 20 minutes. In 60 minutes, pipe B does full work. So for doing half of the work, pipe B takes 30 minutes. So 1/20 plus 1/30 minus 1/C equals to 1/24. Upon simplification, you get the value of C, which comes out to be 24. Now this 24 again is for doing half of the work, right? We are considering only the first half, right? So C can do half of the work in 24 minutes. It will do the full work in 48 minutes. We don't even have to do this. Like I said, I was just trying to explain the regular process. It's very easy to solve directly without putting a pen on paper after the first step, right? So I think we can go to the next one, but let me just try and get this fixed, right? Give me a couple of minutes.
Communication problem.
All right, guys, I think the problem has been fixed now. I can see Mohit commenting that sir pen ka refill change kar do, but I wish I could do this. And all those who are suggesting alt control lit, yeah, I know that works, but here the stream is going on, right? So doing anything like that would stop everything. So we have to be cautious about it. Anyway, the first one is done. The question posted by Sampurna. Like I said, in the last step, all you have to do is, let me just do one thing. I'll explain the last step once again, right? See, we know that A can do this work in 40 minutes. So capacity is 1 by 40. B's capacity is 1 by 60, right? C's capacity, let's say it is 1 by C or minus 1 by C because C is doing a negative work. Now we have understood that in the first 24 minutes only half of the work was done, right? Now if A can do the full work in 40 minutes, A will do half of the work in 20 minutes. So you can take 1 by 20. If B can do full work in 60 minutes, it'll do half of the work in 30 minutes, 1 by 30, and let's say 1 by C, minus 1 by C equals to 1 by 24. I mean, you can simplify this using the unitary method. So find out the value of C now. See, this is only for half of the work. Half of the work, the first half of the work. Are you able to follow? So 1 by C comes out to be, if you take 120 as LCM, this goes 6 times, 30 goes 4 times, and 24 goes 5 times. So 10 minus 5, 5 by 120, which is 1 by 24. Which means C takes 24 minutes, not for the full job, for half of the work. For half of the job. If C takes 24 minutes for half of the work, then it will take 48 minutes, double, for doing the full work. Full work here is nothing but emptying the full tank. So 48 minutes will be the answer. Anyway, like I said, this whole discussion is not, solution is not needed. You can do it mentally as well. Let me present the next question to you all. Here's the next one. This was posted by Sagar Singh. And the question is from Profit and Loss. See what it says? The maximum retail price MRP of a product is 55% above its manufacturing cost. The product is sold through a retailer who earns 23% profit on his purchase price. What is the profit percentage expressed in nearest integer for the manufacturer who sells the product to the retailer? The retailer gives 10% discount on MRP. So interesting question. I'm sure it should not be difficult for you to solve this. You have 1 minute and let's see how many of you get the right answer. Quick. Try to cut down all the unnecessary steps and save your precious time there. Quick. 13% profit, right? Abhishek has got 13%. Ashish has got 13%. That's it. Only 2 of you have responded. Waiting for others to respond, right? 13%? Yeah. More answers have come in here. Kiran has got 13%. Ramya has also got 13%. But yeah, Ramya has also got 13%. Any other response there? Sagar Singh says, I want to know here what is purchase price. Purchase price is cost price. What do you mean by purchase price? The price at which you purchase something. The price at which you purchase something is nothing but the cost price. Alright, so let's take this up. See what the question is. Right? The maximum retail price MRP of a product is 55% above its manufacturing cost. The product is sold through a retailer who earns 23% profit on his purchase price. What is the profit percentage expressed in nearest integer for the manufacturer who sells his product to the retailer? The retailer gives 10% discount on MRP. Right? So the question clearly is on profit and loss, on the concept of profit and loss and discount, of course, where it says that the MRP of a product is 55% above its manufacturing cost, right? The maximum retail price MRP of a product is 55% above its manufacturing cost. Now this product is sold through a retailer, right? This product is not sold directly by the manufacturer. It is sold through a retailer. So which means from the hands of the manufacturer, the product goes to the retailer, and from the retailer, the product goes to the customer, right? It moves through these hands, right? So the product is sold through a retailer who earns 23% profit on his purchase price. So the retailer is making a 23% profit on his purchase price. So when the retailer sells it to customer, he is making how much profit? 23% profit on his own purchase price. Now purchase price here is nothing but the cost price. Whatever is the cost price for the retailer, on that he is making 23% profit. Now what is the profit percentage expressed in nearest integer for the manufacturer? So what is the profit percentage for the manufacturer, right? In the nearest integer form, right? Who sells this product to the retailer? So for the manufacturer, how much is the profit percentage? The other point which has been given to us here is that the retailer gives 10% discount on MRP. The retailer also gives a 10% discount on the MRP, right? Remember, retailer can sell the product at a maximum value of the MRP only. He cannot sell for anything less than MRP. Right? I mean, he cannot sell for anything more than MRP, but he can give a discount. And here in this case, like he has mentioned, the discount given is 10%. So let's try it out now. Now there are two ways to do this. You can either play with some variables, I mean use variables and simplify to get the required answer, or just assume some values and accordingly do the calculations to arrive at the percentage. See, the advantage that we have here is the final answer required is in the percentage format: 31%, 22%, 15%, 13%, 11%, and so on. So when the final answer is required in terms of percentage, you can assume any initial value and use that to do the calculation. Whatever be the initial value, the final answer will come out to be the same in terms of percentage if the process has been followed properly. All right. So let's start working on it now. See, let us assume that the cost price for the manufacturer is 100 rupees. That means the item has been manufactured, the article has been manufactured for 100 rupees. We know that the MRP is 55% above the manufacturing cost. So what will be the MRP? The MRP is going to be 100 plus 55%. It is 55% above the manufacturing cost. So 100 plus 55% of 100. What is 55% of 100? 55. So 100 plus 55 is 155. So the MRP of the product is 155. Now come to this last point. The retailer gives 10% discount on MRP. What is the discount given? 10%. 10% on MRP. So 10% of 155. 10% of 155 is 15.5 rupees. The retailer is giving this discount, 15.5 rupees. Which means, what is the selling price of the retailer? Selling price for the retailer is 155 minus 15.5. which is what, 140 rupees approximately, 139.5, let's say, to be precise, 139.5. You're able to follow. The retailer has been told that maximum value for this product is 155. He decided to give a 10% discount, which is 15.5 rupees. 155 minus 15.5 comes out to be 139.5 rupees, which means the selling price for the retailer, selling price for the retailer as we have calculated is 139.5. He's asking us to find out the profit percentage for the manufacturer. This is what we need to calculate. We also know that the retailer has made a profit of 23%. What is the cost price of the retailer? That's the question. Selling price of the retailer is known. Cost price of the retailer. Can you calculate that? Remember, we have discussed this in the video of profit and loss. The very first introduction video itself, we have discussed that the selling price of the manufacturer, in this case, selling price of the manufacturer will be equal to the cost price of the retailer. In a chain transaction, selling price of A becomes the cost price of B. Selling price of B becomes the cost price of C. Like for example here, the retailer has sold the product for 139.5 rupees, which means the customer has bought the product. The cost price for the customer is 139.5 rupees, right? The price at which retailer sells is the price at which the customer buys. Similarly, the price at which the manufacturer sells is the price at which the retailer buys. So by finding out the cost price of the retailer, we will automatically get the selling price of the manufacturer. And the moment we get the selling price of the manufacturer, we can get the profit percentage required here, right? So find out the cost price of the retailer. How do you do? Selling price of the retailer is 139.5. Profit percentage of the retailer is 23%, right? Selling price for retailer 139.5. Profit percentage for retailer is 23. Cost price for retailer is equal to what? See, you know that if the profit is 23%, if the profit is 23%, selling price will be how much? 123%. So 123% is equivalent to 139.5. We have to find out the cost price. Cost price is how much? 100%. 100% is equal to what? Selling price is 123%. Cost price is 100%. Why selling price 123%? Why selling price 120%? Because the profit is 23%. Selling price is 100% plus profit percentage. Now by cross multiplying these values here, you will be able to find out the cost price of the retailer. Do that calculation. See, don't write all the steps. I mean, you don't have to draw this diagram and prove the theory there, right? This is all for your explanation. What you put on paper is, I think it starts from this step onwards, right? All these calculations can be done mentally, right? 100 plus 55% is 155. 10% of 155 is 15.5, which implies selling price is 139.5. These things can be done mentally. Maybe here you have to do some paperwork. So cost price of the retailer will be 100 into 139.5 divided by 123. Now you have to simplify this part. You have to do this calculation properly. So try to do this now. Approximately shall we do? Anyway, he's asked us to find out the profit percentage expressed in the nearest integer. But the challenge is some of the options are close. Like 13%, 15%, 11%, these are close. The difference is only 2% there. So you have to do a very close, precise calculation there. What do we do? 25, 631. Let's say this is approximately 140, right? Let's say 139.5 is approximately 140. Then what happens? Approximately, right? 140. So 100 into 140 by 123. 100 into 140 by 123. Try to do the calculation now. Is there any common factor? No. Yeah, so do an approximate calculation, we'll figure out. So this is like, 25 into 4. 25 into 4 is 100. 25 into 5, 125. Very close to 123, right? So 4 by 5. 4 by 5 of 140. 4/5 of 140. 4/5 of 140 is like 80% of 140, which is 140 minus 20, 112. It comes out to be 112. Approximately, right? Approximately 112. Cost price of the retailer is 112. Okay, so cost price of the retailer is 112, which is nothing but the selling price of the manufacturer. Now understand, cost price for the manufacturer is 100 rupees. Selling price for the manufacturer is 112 rupees. So what is the profit percentage? 12. Profit percentage is 12. But again, like I said, the challenge is, you know that the profit is 12%, approximately 12%. So option 1, option 2 and option 3 are ruled out. We are stuck between option 4 and option 5. Is it 13% or 11%? That needs to be evaluated now. So what do we do? See, understand, will it be more than 112 or less than 112? I think, see, we have assumed the denominator to be 125. here when we said 25 into 4 is 100 and 25 into 5 is 125, we assumed that the denominator is 125. Assumed denominator is 125. Actual denominator is 123. Actual denominator is less. See, when the denominator is less, value will be more. Yes or no? So if actual denominator is less, actual value is more. Are you able to follow? As the denominator reduces, the value increases. So actual denominator is less. Assumed denominator was 125. Actual denominator is less. If the actual denominator is less, actual value is more. Actual value is more meaning it is more than 112. If it is more than 112, if this is more than 112, answer will be more than 12%. More than 12% here is option 4, 13%. Right? So option 4, 13% is the final answer. It cannot be 11%. It has to be 13%. I mean, if you are not very sure about this calculation, then do a more precise one. I mean, you just can't do anything about it, right? We know that the actual value comes out to be more than 112. So cost price is 100 rupees. Selling price is, let's say, more than 112. Let's assume 13 rupees. Anyway, he has asked us to find out to the nearest integer, right? So let's say 113 rupees. So cost price 100, selling price 113, implies profit is 13%. As simple as that. Now, if I have to really tell you what steps do we need to put on paper here, look at it. This is not needed. What we have done here is not needed. This is only for the sake of explanation, right? All that has been highlighted is not needed. Similarly, this also need not be put on paper, right? MRP is 100 plus 55%, 155. You will not be given extra marks for all these things. These calculations can be done mentally. I think the only step that we need to put on paper is this one. Again, don't write this. Selling price 139.5, profit is 23, cost price is equal to what? No. This box is important. You need to do this calculation. Once you have done this calculation, you know what the answer is. Right? So option 4, 13%. I hope all of you have followed that. Can we go to the next one? Sagar says, I was confused with the purchase price. Now he has got it. Good. And I'm glad that all others have got 13%. But you all have to reflect on your solution once again and see, are you wasting your time anywhere there by putting unnecessary steps? Okay. Can we go to the next one now? Looks like you guys are involved in some discussion there about the number of vacancies in the notification released by IBPS. I'm not sure about that. Shall we go to the next question? Yeah, I've got a confirmation from Prabhakar and Ashwin there. So let me present the next question to you all. Here we go. Now this was posted by Smriti. See what it says. The compound interest, look at the question. The compound interest accrued on an amount of rupees 25,500 at the end of 3 years is rupees 8,400.5. What would be the simple interest accrued on the same amount at the same rate in the same period? I think we have discussed such questions in the past. You should be able to solve it yourself. I know it is a little calculation intensive, but having options would have been a great advantage. If you give us the options, we can solve the question much faster. But since options are not given, we'll probably have to do the detailed calculation there. Yes or no? You have been given the compound interest 8,400.5. You have been given the principal amount 25,500. You know that the time period is 3 years. Can you find out the rate of interest? Yes. Once you get the rate of interest, you have to find out the simple interest on the same amount, which is 25,500, at the same rate, whatever you have got, and the same period, which is 3 years. Right? So maybe 45 seconds, give it a shot quickly, and then we will take up the next one. Okay, Balaji has already got the answer. He says it should be 7,650. 7,650. All right. Let's hear from others. By the way, Smriti in her actual question has asked us for a shortcut. Well, we could have done something if options were given, but since options are not there, we will have to follow the regular process. You can do an approximate calculation, by the way. 7,650. Do you all get that? %, or 11%. I think some of you have considered it to be 10%, others have taken it as 11%. See, I think since options are not there, we will not be able to do much about it. We just do some calculation and try and get an approximate answer. So look at the question. The compound interest accrued on an amount of rupees 25,500 at the end of 3 years is rupees 8,400.5. What would be the simple interest accrued on the same amount at the same rate in the same period? So basically he has given us the principal amount, which is 25,500. The time period is given as 3 years, and the compound interest on this amount of 25,500 is 8,400.5. He's asking us to find out the simple interest on the same amount, which is 25,500, at the same rate and in the same period, right? So basically CI is equal to 8,400.5. Principal amount is 25,500. The time period is 3 years. Now from CI, principal amount, and the time period, will you be able to calculate the rate of interest? Yes, you can calculate the rate of interest. So you have to find out the rate of interest. R is equal to what? Once you get the rate of interest on the same principal, same time period, and the same rate of interest, we got to find out the simple interest, right? Now, like I said, if options were given, it could have been an easy solution, but since options are not there, we will have to, either do a complete calculation, proper calculation to find out the exact answer, or do a rough calculation to come close to the real answer there, right? So let's do an approximate calculation. What I'll try and do here is find out how much is the compound interest in terms of percentage. Let's do that as a first step, right? What is the compound interest in terms of percentage? How do we calculate that? See, the compound interest is 8,400.5 rupees on a total amount of 25,500 rupees. So how much is the percentage? What percentage is this? 8,400.5 is what percentage of 25,500? I mean, that's the first step, right? We are trying to find out the compound interest in terms of percentage. Why are we doing this in terms of percentage? I'll explain it later, but let's do the calculation first. So what happens? 8,400, I think this 0.5 you can neglect, right? So basically 8,400 by 255 into 100. So zeros get cancelled anyway. 84 by 255. 84 by 255. What percentage is this? Or 8,400 by 255. 84 into 100, 8,400 by 255. Try and find out the percentage, approximate percentage. See, if we take 25.5 here as 10%, 25.5 into 3, 76.5. So 30% is 76.5. And you're getting it. I'm trying to break 84. Trying to break 84 as 76.5 plus remaining 3.5 and 4, which is 7.5, right? 76.5 plus 3.5 and 4 is 7.5. Yeah. So what did we do here? I'm trying to break 84 as 76.5 plus 7.5. Why 76.5 plus 7.5? Because for 255, 30% is 76.5, 10% is 25.5, 30% is 76.5. So this is equal to 30%. And if 30% is 76.5, approximately about 3% is this 7.5. So I can say that the compound interest in terms of percentage is approximately 30 plus 3, 33%. 30 plus 3, 33%. Now and this is in how many years? In 3 years. Remember, this compound interest calculation is for 3 years, right? In 3 years of time. In 3 years of time, we have obtained 33%, approximately 33%. When is this possible? See, from your basic understanding, you know that let's assume if the rate of interest is 10% and time period is 3 years. What will be the compound interest? How do you calculate? 10 plus 10 plus 10 into 10 by 100. You know that compounding process, right? We have discussed this in the video, so I'm not explaining in detail. This will give you 21, and then on 21 again, to find out the final compound interest, you should take 21 plus the third year 10 plus 21 into 10 by 100. A plus B plus AB by 100, that formula. So So 21 plus 10, 31, 31 plus 2.1, 32.1. So the point is, the compound interest is going to be 32.1 percentage. Sorry. The compound interest is going to be 32.1 percentage if the rate of interest is 10 percentage. Now here we have got the compound interest to be approximately 33 percentage. Approximately 33 percentage. In fact, it is less than 33 percentage only, right? We have taken this to be 3, approximately 3, it will be less than 3. So if the compound interest is 33 percentage, I can, say that the rate of interest will be around 10 percentage, approximately 10 percentage. Because in case of 10 percentage only, you will get 33 percentage for 3 years. You're able to follow. Similarly, let's say the rate of interest is 5 percentage. Just take another example. Rate of interest is 5 percentage and time period is 3 years. Then how do we get the compound interest? The first step is 5 plus 5 plus 5 into 5 by 100. So this gives you 10.25. Again, in the next step, you get the compound interest. How do you do that? 10.25 plus 5 plus 10.25 into 5 by 100. Same, a plus b by 100 has to be used twice. So 10.25 into 5 is 51.25. 51.25 by 100 is approximately half, let's say 0.5, right? So 10.25 plus 5, 15.25 plus 0.5, 15.75. Approximately 15.75. So basically, if the rate of interest is 5 percentage, then the time period is 3 years, you will get somewhere around 15.75 percentage as compound interest. Or let's say 16 percentage as compound interest. So if you get the compound interest as 16 percentage, you can assume that rate of interest is somewhere around 5 percentage. Right? Now, by this calculation, we find out that rate is 10 percentage. Now, what is he asking us to find out? Find out the simple interest. How do you get the simple interest? Simple, right? PTR by 100. So SI will be equal to P into T into R by 100. Or simple, 10 percentage for 3 years will give you 30 percentage. Our percentage method, right? Rate of interest is 10 percentage per annum. For 3 years, 30 percentage. So 30 percentage of what? The principal amount, which is 25,500. 30 percentage of 25,500 is 7,650. This can be taken as the approximate answer. Again, I am repeating myself. This is an approximate calculation. We have not done an exact calculation here, right? Approximate calculation. I would prefer to have options for these type of questions, right? Because based on the options, you may even avoid doing this whole process there, right? If only one of the options is close to 7,600, 7,650, we can mark that as the answer directly, right? Without having to worry about it. Now, if let's say in the options there are 2 options which are very close to 7,650, then we'll have to do a precise calculation here. And accordingly, we'll have to split it here, right? So I think that's the way you do it. I mean, do a rough calculation and find out what the correct answer is. There's no better shortcut. Yeah, by the way, this will be 33.1. I have taken it as 32.1. This will be 33.1. 21 plus 10, 31. 31 plus 2.1, 33.1. So compound interest is 33.1 percentage approximately if the rate of interest is 10 percentage. Here we have got 33. So very close to 10 percentage, right? I mean 33 percentage compound interest for 3 years indicates rate of interest should be 10 percentage. Okay. Shall we go for the next one? Sagar Singh has asked a question. Is this method applicable for 4 years too? Well, for 4 years also you can do it, but then again, like what we have done here for 3 years, same thing has to be done for 4 years, right? Here we have applied A plus B plus AB by 100 twice. In case of 4 years, you have to apply here we have applied A plus B plus AB by 100 twice. In case of 4 years, you have to apply A plus B plus AB by 100, A plus B plus AB by 100 thrice. So one additional step will be there, right? Like for example, at 10 percentage, the compound interest for 4 years will be 33.1 plus 10 plus 33.1 into 10 by 100. So that will give you 43.1 plus 3.31. So 46.2, somewhere around 46.2. So if you get the compound interest as 46.2, you can, assume that the rate of interest is somewhere around 10 percentage, right? Trust all of you have got it. Shall we go for the next one? Okay, let's take the next question. Now this was posted by Anjali. Another question on simple and compound interest, I guess. Try to solve this quickly. Mr. Shiva invested equal amount of money in 2 different firms, which gives 15% simple interest per annum for 3.5 years and 5 years respectively. If the difference between their is 225, the amount invested by Mr. Shiva. Now this is a very simple question. I don't understand why was this left unanswered in the forum. Quick, try to solve this quickly. Got it? 1K, right? Okay, so here's the solution. Look at the question. Mr. Shiva invested equal amount of money in two different firms, which gives 15% simple interest per annum for 3.5 years and 5 years respectively. If the difference between their invest is rupees 225, the amount invested by Mr. Shiva is. So very simple question. He's talking about two different firms, both of which give you 15% simple interest per annum. But the first one gives for 3.5 years, the second one gives for 5 years. So clearly the difference is going to be how much? See, I mean, here you will get 15% for 3.5 years every year. Here you will get 15% for 5 years every year. The difference is what? 1.5 years, right? So difference is going to be 1.5 years and 15% for those 1.5 years. You're able to follow. Difference is 15% for those 1.5 years. Now 15% of 1.5 years, 2.25%, right? I mean 22.5%. This 22.5% is equal to 225 according to the question. If this difference is 225, so the difference according to us is 22.5%, but according to the absolute value it is 225. So 22.5% equals to 225. How much is the amount invested by Mr. Shiva? If 22.5% is 225, 100% is equal to what? 100% will come out to be 1000, right? 1000 rupees. Clear? 1000 rupees. But then be careful. Again, options are not here, so we cannot really say anything about it. But the question here is, what is the amount invested by Mr. Shiva? Mr. Shiva has invested equal amount of money in two different firms. He has invested not 1000, he has invested 2000. He'll be investing 1000 in firm A and 1000 in the firm B. You're able to follow. He'll invest 1000 in firm A and 1000 in firm B. So should we take it as 1000 or 2000? We should take it as 2000, right? I mean, strictly speaking, the amount invested by Mr. Shiva. He did not ask how much is the amount invested in one of the firms or in firm A or firm B. He has simply said, what is the amount invested by Mr. Shiva? Mr. Shiva has invested 2000 rupees. So while you all got the answer very quickly, 1000, I think it was incomplete, right? 2000 is the final answer. If you ask me, right? Strictly speaking, 2000 is the final answer. It's not 1000 because the question says how much is the amount invested by Mr. Shiva. So the moral of the story is, don't be in a hurry. I had actually mentioned in the beginning that why did we choose this question, or why did people did not answer this? There was a reason for choosing this one. At least now I can say that there was a reason for choosing this one, because all of you in a hurry marked the answer as 1000. No, it's 2000. Total investment by Shiva is 2000. 1000 in firm A and 1000 in firm B. So that's why I tell you, right? These kind of silly mistakes will cost you a lot. It's not those complex questions which you're skipping is taking you behind, like lagging you behind. It is these simple mistakes that we commit while answering such silly questions and end up losing our marks. Now you've not just lost 1 mark here, but you've got a negative marking of 0.25. Abhishek says minus 0.25. It's not minus 0.25, it is minus 1.25, because 0.25 is a penalty and you could have actually scored 1 mark very easily, right? Abhijit also says minus 0.25. It's not minus 0.25, guys. You have lost 1.25 marks. Remember, for every silly mistake that you commit, you don't lose 0.25 marks, you lose 1.25 marks. For a mistake that was not really a silly one, you can probably say, okay, I lost 0.25 marks. But here your loss is 1.25. So however simple the question is, you have to be careful, right? You have to do it carefully. Shall we go for the next one? Yeah, Patthar and Pahad. I don't want to give that example again. I have mentioned that multiple times already. Anubha has reminded me of that. So don't run behind solving those big problems, right? Be careful about these smaller ones. And time, of course. Yes, Naman Agarwal says minus 1.25 and also the time. Shall we go for the next one quickly? Yeah. So tell me how many of you are feeling bad about this, like such a silly one, but you've gone wrong. Yeah, let's go for the next one. I'm sure all of you are not very happy about your performance in this one, but here's the next question. Now this is posted by Nidhi. It says, in a triangle, two sides of a right angle triangle are 21 centimeter and 35 centimeter. If the triangle is revolved along the 21 centimeter side, the curved surface area of the cone so formed will be. Now this is really an interesting one, right? He says there's a triangle. Two of the sides of the right angle triangle are 21 centimeters and 35 centimeters. If the triangle is revolved along the 21 centimeter side, the curved surface area of the cone so formed will be. I'll give you more than 1 minute to try this, or I will actually wait for your responses. Let's see how many of you are able to solve this. This is a question from mensuration, where you actually revolve a 2D plane to get a 3D solid, right? I mean, imaginary 3D solid. And we're required to find out the curved surface area of that cone so formed by revolving a triangle. So let's see how many of you get the right answer. Got it? Okay, answers have started coming in, but not all of you have got the same answer, right? Sharmishta has got 2310. Pathmesh, Hemant have also got 2310. But Amit Kumar says it should be 2450, option 4. Nagraj has also got option 4. Gayatri has got option 3, 1848. So I think 3 different responses so far: 2310, 1848 and 2450. Let me hear from a few more of you before we look at the solution, right? Interesting question. There's a triangle. 2 sides of this triangle are 21 centimeters and 35 centimeters. If the triangle is revolved along the 21 centimeter side, the curved surface area of the cone so formed will be. What will be the curved surface area of the cone that gets formed here? Option 2. Shrinu has also got option 2, 2310, and Sanchali Goswami has also got the same answer, 2310. Amit Kumar has realized that he has calculated volume, but I think, Amit, you have already lost it. Because in the exam, once you mark the answer, you would not be able to, you would not go back and check it again, right? Here, probably because everybody else was getting some other answer, you checked your solution, but that luxury is not there in the exam. Correct? Sagar Singh says, I'm not getting what this revolved. Rishika Menon is struck. Anil Kumar is also confused. Nilesh Chaudhary says, I cannot understand the question. Good. So I want you guys to tell me if you have got it or got struck so that we can proceed with the solution. Pooja Shri, Isha, Malbika Mohanty, all these guys have got 2310. Sumit Kumar Pandit, by the way, has got option 5 and he says it should be 2156. 2156. Hitesh has got 1848, option 3. Chalo, 10 seconds more. Quickly tell me if you have got it or you have got stuck. Yeah, so let me hear out who all are struck here. Anubha, Chandra Neeraj, Niveda says proceed. Yeah, we'll just look at the solution immediately. Smriti Priyanka did not understand this. Anybody else? Yeah, Balaji also is confused. He says, I don't know what to do. Chalo, let's discuss this now. So the question was posted by Nidhi. It says in a triangle, 2 sides of right angle triangle are 21 centimeter and 35 centimeter. Right? 2 sides of a right angle triangle are 21 centimeters and 35 centimeters. If the triangle is revolved along the 21 centimeter side, the curved surface area of the cone so formed will be. So here the triangle is revolved along the 21 centimeter side. What will be the curved surface area of the cone so formed? Curved surface area of the cone so formed. Let's discuss this. The first thing that we need to understand is what are the sides of the triangle. Well, he is very clearly given that 2 sides of this right angle triangle are 21 centimeter and 35 centimeter. We got to, draw the triangle properly, right? Now, how do we do that? See, you know that in the fact that it is a right angle triangle, Pythagoras theorem has to hold true, right? And we very well know that in a right angle triangle, the triplet, see 3, 4, 5 is a popular triplet for right angle triangle, right? Like you can say there is a right angle triangle where the perpendicular sides are 3 and 4, the hypotenuse would be 5. And any other triplet which is a multiple of this triplet 3, 4, 5 also makes a right angle triangle. You're getting it? any triplet which is in the ratio of 3, 4, 5, which gives the ratio 3:4:5, forms a right angle triangle. Now here when I look at the two sides, 21 centimeters and 35 centimeters, I can say that 21 centimeters is like 3 into 7, right? 21. 35 is like 5 into 7, 35. You're able to follow? So two of the sides of the right angle triangle as given in the question are 21 and 35. So obviously the third side should be 4 into 7, which is 28. So now I can say that the three sides of the triangle are 21, 28 and 35. If you want, you can verify. This Pythagoras theorem holds true here, right? 21 squared plus 28 squared should be equal to 35 squared. Yes or no? And upon doing the calculation, you will find out that yes, this satisfies. 21 squared, you know, is 441. What is 28 squared? 784. And the total of these two comes out to be how much? 1100 plus 125, 1225. And yes, 35 square is actually 1225. So clearly, the three sides of the triangle are 28, 21 and 35. Right? 28, 21 and 35. Are you able to follow? 28, 21, 35. Now, let us look at the question. It says the triangle here is revolved along the 21 centimeter side. So I'll make the triangle again. I'll just change the two perpendicular sides. I mean, it doesn't really matter, right? Pythagoras, the hypotenuse is 35. I'll take 28 here and 21 here. Okay, this is the right angle triangle that we have. The question says the triangle is revolved along the 21 centimeter side. What do you mean by revolved along the 21 centimeter side? See, this is the triangle. It's like a flap, right? You revolve this now. So it's like this. You hold the 21 centimeter side like this. The 21 centimeter side is fixed. Along this side, you just revolve it. You just revolve this triangle. So it's like, you know, hold this tip here, this vertex here, and just revolve it. You know, revolve it like this. So what happens? You will get a cone-like structure, right? You understand? The second part is formed by revolving. When you revolve it, you will get a cone-like structure. This whole thing gets revolved, and what forms there virtually is the cone. It's like a cone. You're getting it? A cone-like structure is formed. A cone-like structure is formed. So if you observe, this will translate into a figure like this. Right? The 21 centimeter side is fixed. So this height 21 is fixed. It was revolved along the 21 centimeter side. So that becomes the height of the cone. The radius is 28. The radius is 28 because this 28 goes on the other side. Again, this also is 28, right? So the radius of the cone will be 28. And whatever is the hypotenuse, right? That hypotenuse will act like the slant length, 35. You're able to follow? The hypotenuse here will act like the slant length. You're able to follow? So this cone is formed because it is revolved along the 21 centimeter side. The same question can be changed as the triangle is revolved along 28 centimeter side. Then what happens? Height becomes 28, radius will remain 21. Slant length will always be slant length. Slant length is always the hypotenuse. Yes or no? Slant length is the hypotenuse. So this is the cone. Height 21, radius 28, slant length 35. What is he asking us to find out? The curved surface area of the cone. What is curved surface area of a cone? Curved surface area of a cone is pi RL. Simplify that. So the CSA of a cone, which is pi RL, will be equal to 22 by 7 into the radius here is 28 and L is the slant length. Remember, L is the slant length, which is 35 in this case. So simplify this. 7 goes 5 times in 35. 22 into 5 into 28. So this is like 22 is 25 minus 3. 28 is 25 plus 3. So that's like 25 square minus 3 square. 625 minus 9, 616. 616 into 5. 616 into 5 is 3000 plus 80, 3080. I think 3080, option 1 should be the final answer. 3080 centimeter square, the curved surface area. All right. So simple point is, first evaluate what is the triangle, what are the sides of the triangle. Two sides were given. You can find out the third side using this popular triplet that we know, right? 3:4:5. That ratio has to be satisfied. So according to that, the third side comes out to be 28. Then consider the side on which it is revolved as the height. The side along which the triangle is revolved has to be taken as the height of the triangle. The other perpendicular side becomes a base. And anyway, slant length is slant length. So upon complete simplification, you will get the, I mean, he can ask you anything. He can ask you the curved surface area or the total surface area or the volume of the cone. Use the right formula to get the answer. Curved surface area is pi RL. volume of the cone is 1 by 3 pi r square h. Total surface area will be pi r L plus pi r square. So do the calculation accordingly. In this case, the answer is option 1, 3080. Now let me see how many of you have understood this, because most of you got option 2, 2310 as the answer. Now I don't understand, why did you take 2310 as the answer? Why 2310? I mean, this is more to do with, visualization, right? You should be able to visualize that there's a, let's assume that there's a right angle triangle, a piece of paper in the shape of a right angle triangle, right? So hold it in the right fashion, right? Perpendicular sides and the hypotenuse, and then revolve it. So, what forms there is like a cone. So the base becomes the radius, the height of the triangle, the other perpendicular side of the triangle becomes the height of the cone. And then the slant length is the slant length. The hypotenuse is the slant length, right? Shailendra Kumar says, is this ratio always true? Yes, it is always true. 3:4:5 is the standard, right? The standard triplet. Like, you just verify. Got it? Curved surface area means, should we subtract bottom surface area? Well, of course, Venkatesh, curved surface area will not even include the bottom, right? Curved surface area, as the name says, is the curved surface. The bottom or the base of a cone is a flat surface, right? It's not curved. What is curved is that conical shape, right? Which is pi RL. So you only have to consider pi RL. Don't subtract or add anything there, right? Priyanka Singh and Tiwari have asked a question, right? How do we decide which two sides are given? Well, just get the ratio. I mean, from the ratio, get the third side first. Obviously, the one which is the highest in length, the longest side will be the hypotenuse, right? The other two sides are perpendicular sides. Now, whether you take 21 as base or 28 as base doesn't matter. Finally, when you are revolving it, you have to be careful, right? Roshni says, I took the radius as 21 instead of 28. Why? Yeah. So it is actually an easy question. I mean, now that you have solved it once, you should be able to solve it very easily. Cleared all of you? Can we go to the next one? Any confusions anywhere? Right, 21 is the side along which it was revolved. Should we take up the next question? All right, I think we can just go ahead and take the next one. We are close to end of the session. Let's solve a few more before we call it a day. So here's the next one. This was posted by Chandrahas. The question was posted by Chandrahas. It says Chotu and Motu can wash 750 dishes in 15 by 2 hours. Motu and Lambu can wash 500 dishes at the same time. And Chotu and Lambu can finish 500 dishes in 6 hours. If Chotu, Motu and Lambu get a work to wash 1000 dishes and get 200 per hour together, then how much money will they get together by completing the whole work? Try this. Doesn't look like a complex one, right? Should be easy to crack. You have 1 minute. Got it? Quick. I thought this would be easy to crack, but nobody has got the answer. Okay, Venkatesh is still confused with the previous one. He says, but surface area of a cone is pi RL that consists of total area. No. Venkatesh, your concepts are not very clear. The surface area is not pi RL. The curved surface area is pi RL. The total surface area is pi RL plus pi R square. Okay, answers have started coming in. 1600, right? Milan, Rishika, Anil Kiran, Sagar, Prabhak. Okay, Sagar. All these guys have got 1600. Prabhakar has got 800, option 2. But Monica has got 1600. Neeraj has got 1250, which is option 4. Isha has got 1600. Sumit Kumar has got 1250. Abhishek has got 1600. So a mixed response here, right? Balaji has got 400. So you've covered all the options, right? There's one person who has got 400. There are a few who have got 800. Many of you have got 1600. And then some of you have got 1250. Good. So there's nothing left to choose now. $1,600, $1,250. All right. Confused. Looks like all of you are confused. Let's take this up. So the question here says Chotu and Motu can wash 750 dishes in 15 by 2 hours. Motu and Lambu can wash 500 dishes at the same time. And Chotu and Lambu can finish 500 dishes in 6 hours. If Chotu, Motu and Lambu get a work to wash 1000 dishes and get rupees 200 per hour together, then how much money will they get together by completing whole work? Interesting question and simple in my view, but I'm disappointed that your answers are all not matching, right? You guys are confused between 1600 and 1250. So let's take it up. Chotu and Motu can wash 750 dishes in 15 by 2 hours. So what is the capacity of Chotu and Motu together? C plus M. Chotu and Motu will do 750 in 15 by 2. 15 by 2 is like 7.5, right? So we can say Chotu and Motu can do 750 by 7.5 per hour. 750 dishes in 7.5 hours. So how many dishes per hour? 750 by 7.5. You're able to follow? 750 dishes in 15 by 2 hours, 7.5 hours. So per hour they can do 750 by 7.5. So we are trying to find out the amount of work that each pair can do per hour. Chotu and Motu can do 750 by 7.5. Motu and Lambu, they can do 500 at the same time, in the same time. Right? In the same time meaning in the same 15 by 2 hours. So Motu and Lambu, M plus L equals to what? 500 by 7.5. And there's one more pair there, Chotu and Lambu. Chotu and Lambu can finish 500 dishes in 6 hours. 500 in 6 hours. Who are these guys? Chotu and Lambu. 500 in 6 hours. Now, Chotu, Motu and Lambu, 3 guys together have got a work to wash 1000 dishes. And they will be paid 200 rupees per hour together. So how much money will 3 of them will make in completing the whole work is the question. How much money will they get together by completing the whole work? I think in my view, the easiest way to solve this question is to find out the total capacity of Chotu, Motu and Lambu. We know the pairs. We know each possible pair. Chotu plus Motu, Motu plus Lambu, Chotu plus Lambu. But let's find out the capacity of Chotu plus Motu plus Lambu. How can you do that? Simply add all the 3 equations. See, if I add all the 3 equations, what do we get? We get 2 C's, we get 2 M's and we get 2 L's. So if we take 2 common, we have C plus M plus L, which is equal to 750 by 7.5 plus 500 by 7.5 plus 500 by 6. So simplify this. What is the LCM of 7.5 and 6? 7.5 and 6, I think 30 is LCM, right? So let's take 30 as LCM. So if we take 30 as LCM, 7.5 goes 4 times. 4 into 750 is 3000. 7.5 goes 4 times. So 500 into 4 is 2000. You're able to follow? It goes 4 times, right? So 4 times of 500, 2000. 6 goes 5 times. 5 times of 500 is 2.5 thousand. So basically 2 times of C plus M plus L equals to 3000 plus 2000, 5000, 5000 plus 2500, 7500 by 30. 7500 by 30. Simplify this. How many times? 750 by 30 is 250 times, right? 250. So basically 2 times of Chotu plus Motu plus Lambu is 250. Implies single time of Chotu plus single time of Motu plus single time of Lambu is 250 by 2. 250 by 2, which is 125. Understand, what is this 125? This 125 is their capacity. What do you mean by capacity? They can wash 125 dishes per hour. You understand? That's what we have taken, right? 750 by 7.5. 750 dishes is 7.5 hours, which means 750 by 7.5 per hour. 500 by 7.5 dishes per hour. 500 by 6 dishes per hour, which means this is 125 dishes per hour. So in 1 hour, these 3 guys together can wash 125 dishes. How many total dishes have been given to them? 1000 dishes. See, for doing 125, they take 1 hour. So for doing 1000, how much will they take? Cross multiply, 8 hours. It comes out to be 8 hours, right? I mean, it comes out to be 8 hours. For 125, they take 1 hour. So for 1000, how much will they take? 8 hours, right? 1000 by 125. You don't have to write this step. I'm just doing the calculation so that you can understand what has been done. 1000 by 125 is 8 hours, which means they need 8 hours of their time. But they're being paid how much? 200 per hour. So how much money will they get together? 200 per hour for 8 hours, 1600. Explanation looks to be lengthy, but the solution is simple. And do not go by the number of steps. All these steps can be cut down, right? If you are smart, you'll directly start from this step. You'll not write all these individual steps there. This is only for the sake of explanation, right? Directly take the sum of their capacities and don't forget to divide by 2, because on the left hand side we'll get 2 times of C plus M plus L. So you have to consider that 2 in the denominator later on, right? Once you get the total capacity, it's very easy to solve. So 1600, option 3 is the final answer. Now tell me, why were you guys confused? Why did many of you mark 1250 as the answer? Why? What made you get 1250 as the answer? And I am assuming, I'm hoping that all those who had got 1250 as the answer have understood where they've gone wrong, right? Like Harsha, Amit Kumar, Sumit Kumar Pandit, Nilesh Chaudhary, right? Dhaval, Balaji had got 400. I don't know how. Quick, tell me what made you get 1250 as the answer. I want to understand, how do you guys, I mean, what made you get 1250? So that when I explain, I ensure that I stress on that point, right? Don't think that way. Got it? Wrong calculation. Ashish says that calculation was done wrongly. Harsha has got it. Shall we take up the next one? Okay, let's take the next one, huh? Now this is really an interesting one, but a sitter in my view. This was posted by Manglemba Naurem. Apologies if I'm not pronouncing your name properly. It says a clock strikes once at 1 o'clock, twice at 2 o'clock, thrice at 3 o'clock, and so on. If it takes 12 seconds to strike at 5 o'clock, what is the time taken? What is the time taken it to strike at 10 o'clock? First of all, the question has not been framed very, has not been framed properly, right? The meaning is not coming out very clear, but then I'm sure you all will be able to solve it without any difficulty. Quick. I mean, I don't see any challenge here. This is like a 0-second question, right? You should get the answer in 0 seconds. I'm surprised that this was not responded in the forum. $24? All right. So I don't see any challenge here. You should take like 2 seconds to mark the answer for this one. So the question was posted by Manglemba Norem, right? I'm trying to get the name right. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing it properly. It says a clock strikes once at 1 o'clock, twice at 2 o'clock, and thrice at 3 o'clock, and so on. If it takes 12 seconds to strike at 5 o'clock, what is the time taken it to strike at 10 o'clock? So like I said, some grammatical errors here, but then I think the context is clear, right? So basically there is a clock, it strikes once at 1 o'clock, twice at 2 o'clock, and thrice at 3 o'clock, and so on. So it's like when it is 4 p.m., the clock will strike 4 times. If it is 6 p.m., the clock will strike 6 times. So just by the number of strikes, the number of strokes, you can understand what is the time. Suppose if you suddenly hear the clock striking, count the number of strokes: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it means it is 8 p.m. By the way, it is actually 8 p.m. We'll be closing the session soon. So this is the clock. And just for your general knowledge, I had seen one such clock in this museum called Salarjung Museum in Hyderabad, right? It's a very popular museum, all stuff related to Nizams and their era there. So there's this clock there, a big clock, where a bird comes out every 1 hour and rings a bell or something like that. And then the same concept there, right? If it is 1 o'clock, it rings once. If it is 2 o'clock, it rings twice, and so on. Now it says that it takes 12 seconds to strike at 5 o'clock. What is the time taken by to strike at 10 o'clock? So I don't see any concern here, right? I mean, like at 5 o'clock, we know that it strikes 5 times, right? So for striking 5 times, it takes 12 seconds. At 10 o'clock, it would strike how many times? 10 times. So it's like this, right? For ringing 5 times, it takes 12 seconds. So for ringing 10 times, it should take 24 seconds. Right? And that's your answer. So that's why I thought it's very easy. I don't know if there's like something very complex to be done there. No, right? 24 seconds. Right? 24. Should we go for the next one? So let's present the next question. Okay, here's the next one. No, Abhishek, this is not the chapter of clocks. The type of questions that are asked in the from the topic of clocks are not of these type, right? That's a completely different topic, and it's not a part of your bank exam syllabus. So don't misunderstand that the one that you have solved just now is from clocks. It's not from clocks. Here's the next question. This was posted by Chandrahas and this one is on simple and compound interest. 16K. Got it? Okay, Sagar Singh has got 16K and Naman Agarwal has got 16K. Waiting for others to respond. Okay, so the time is up. Looks like all those who have got it have been able to solve it, have got 16,000 is the answer, option 4. Let's discuss the solution now. So this was posted by Chandraha. See what it says. A man borrows money at 3% per annum interest payable yearly and lends it immediately, right? It lends it immediately at 5% interest, which is the compound interest case, payable half yearly, and thereby gains rupees 330 at the end of the year. The sum borrowed is dash 17,500, 16,500, 15,000 or 16,000. So let's solve this now. So a man borrows money at what rate? 3% per annum interest. And when he says 3% per annum and he has not specified whether it is simple or compound, we should always consider it to be simple interest. We have discussed this in the video as well, right? If it is not specified, always consider it to be simple interest case. So basically a man has borrowed money at what rate? 3% per annum simple interest rate, which is payable yearly, right? And he lends it immediately at 5% interest. So he borrows at 3% and lends it at 5%. So usually in a simple scenario, he should be making 2% profit, because to the one from whom you have borrowed, you will be paying 3% interest. And to the one to whom you have lent, you will be charging 5% interest. So the margin is 2%. But then there are changes here, right? There are conditions here. This 5% is not simple interest. It is a compound interest. And it is not payable yearly. It is payable half yearly. So you know that in case of compound interest, all these scenarios come up, right? Half yearly compounding, yearly compounding, quarterly compounding, etc. So it's not a yearly compounding. It's not a regular compound interest. It's a half yearly compounding process. And because of all this, he makes a profit of rupees 330 at the end of the year, at the end of 1 year. His gain is 330, right? He makes 330 rupees profit. So what was the sum borrowed is the question. Simple. Let us find out the gain in terms of percentage. What is the gain in terms of percentage? First of all, 5% compound interest at half yearly compounding. How much will it be for 1 year? Right? 5% compound interest. I mean, when the rate of interest is 5% and it is being done half yearly, how much will be the total compound interest? What will be the total compound interest? See, we have discussed this method in our video, right? So I'm not discussing that in detail again, right? You know how to do half yearly compounding. See, the rate of interest is 5% per annum. Per annum it is 5%. For half year it will be 2.5%. And in 1 year, how many half years do we get? We get 2 half years. So we have to use A plus B plus AB by 100. You're able to follow? The way to evaluate compound interest is use the formula A plus B plus AB by 100. Here A and B both are going to be 2.5. Why is it 2.5? Why not 5? Because 5% is for 1 year. This is a half yearly compounding process, right? So you should take for half year. And there are 2 half years in 1 year. So you have to do A plus B plus AB by 100. So 2.5 plus 2.5 plus 2.5 into 2.5 by 100. This is the total compound interest that he gets, that he charges to the one whom he has lent the money. What is the total simple interest? Straight 3%. There is nothing to be done there. Simplify this now first of all. 2.5 plus 2.5 is 5. Right? And then 2.5 into 2.5 by 100. So how much is this? 2.5 into 2.5. It will be 6.25. 6.25 by 100. How much is 6.25? You're able to follow. How much is 6.2? Sorry, 2.5 plus 2.5 is anyway 5. This is 2.5 into 2.5 by 100. So basically 6.25 by 100. 6.25 by 100 is 0.0625. So this will be 5.0625. So the total compound interest that he makes, or the total interest that he gets, is 5.0625%. You're able to follow A plus B plus AP by 100. And the total interest that he has to pay is 3%, right? So what is the profit? The profit is 5.0625% minus 3%, which is actually 2.0625%. And this is equal to 330 rupees. See, he thereby gains 330 at the end of the year. So this is equal to 330 rupees. This 2.0625% is equal to 330 rupees. What is he asking us to find out? The sum borrowed. The sum borrowed is always 100%, right? Principal amount is always 100%. So if 2.0625% is equal to 330, 100% is equal to what? Cross multiply and get the required answer. Do the calculation quickly. 2.0625% is 330, 100% is equal to what? Right? So upon simplification, you will get, I'll leave the calculation to you. The answer comes out to be 16,000. So option 4, 16,000 is the correct answer. Okay. So I think initially I saw everybody getting 16,000 as answer, but towards the end, some of you had marked 16,500, like Chandra Neeraj, Milan, and yeah, I think 2-3 of you had got 16,500. Roshni had got 16,500. Abhishek got 16,000. Good. Yeah. So the confusion was between 16,000 or 16,500, and the right answer, like you can see, is 16,000. Okay. Clear to all of you? Any confusion anywhere? So cut down the number of steps. I think one is that A plus B plus AB by 100 calculation that you need to do. The other one is the other one is straight 3% simple interest, he says. So you can just do that and get the answer. Should we go for the next one? Sagar Singh says take one more. Yeah, I will do one more question. Don't worry. I'm waiting to get the clearance from you guys. Any confusion there? Should we move to the next question? It's 8:15 already, by the way. Maybe just one more and then we'll close it. Shailendra Kumar also says one more. Yeah, so I've got some confirmations here. Let me share the next question with all of you. So here's the next one. This was posted by Sagar Singh. Yeah. Looks like a question on ages. Try this out. It says the combined ages of Mary, let's say, Mary and Anne are 44 years. And Mary is twice as old as Anne was when Mary was half as old as Anne, will be when Anne is 3 times as old as Mary was when Mary was 3 times as old as Anne. Now this is really very interesting. Try this. How old is Mary? How old is Mary is the question. So I think a complex statement there or sentence there, you have to split it up into parts, frame all those equations. It will be at different points of time, right? Frame all those equations and then see which one gives you the age of Mary. So I'll leave you with this for like at least a minute. Try this out quick. I would like to ask Sagar about the source of this question, right? Where did you pick this up from? I'm sure we don't get such questions in bank exams or SSC exams, right? या एंड शैलेंद्र कुमार राइटली सेज कि सिल्विया मैम को आना पड़ेगा समझाने के लिए, ये सिर्फ वही समझा सकती हैं, राइट? बहुत ही कॉम्प्लेक्स सेंटेंस है। सागर कहाँ से उठाया भाई? सी बैंक एग्जाम्स और एसएससी एग्जाम्स में तो ऐसे क्वेश्चंस पूछे नहीं जाते हैं। नयन बाय द वे हैज गॉट 27.5, गुड, waiting for others to respond, and I'll keep quiet for a few seconds. All of you focus and see if you can crack it yourself. And Nayan, if you have got 27.5, why don't you explain what have you done? So that all of us get some clarity. This is really a very interesting one. Nikunj Agarwal says, I've got 29.2. Good, that's there, of course. Option 5 can be taken as 29.2. Yeah, so shall we take this up now? I'm not sure if we'll be able to crack this. Like somebody said, we'll have to call Sylvia ma'am to decipher this complex sentence there. So Sagar, where did you pick this up from? I think I asked that question to you, right? Sagar says, I got this in the mains mock exam of IBPS. Oh. Okay, I think 2-3 of you have got 27.5, right? Nayan has got 27.5, and I see that Vinay has got 27.5, right? But Nikunj has got 29.2. Others? Can we proceed? Proceed as in proceed to the next one. I don't think it's a easy nut to crack. But let's see. Those who have got the answer 27.5 or 29.2, whatever you have got, why don't you explain? Why don't you explain what you have done to arrive at whatever you have arrived at? Nikunj Agarwal says, actually only the first statement is sufficient. All the remaining statements are cancelling themselves. Abhishek is right. He says, I solved it in 2 seconds. That is, just skip. Okay, so let's take this up. I think I am not sure if we'll be able to crack this, but let me give it a try. So the question says that the combined, and if you're unable to solve this now, we'll take it up in our next session. Don't worry, right? Now that we've chosen this, we'll anyway solve this. But I'm still not sure if such questions are a part of our bank or SSC exams syllabus. See, the question here says the combined ages of Mary and Anne are 44 years. And Mary is twice as old as Anne was when Mary was half as old as Anne will be when Anne is 3 times as old as Mary was when Mary was 3 times as old as Anne. How old is Mary? How old is Mary? So very complex statement there, right? One single statement where he's talking about multiple time periods. It's not just one instance. He's talking about 3 or 4 different instances if you look at it, right? So just read it once again and carefully try to split it into parts. He says the combined ages of Mary and Anne are 44 years. So this is very easy. The combined ages of Mary and Anne are 44 years, right? Let's assume their present ages are M and A. So M plus A equals to 44, right? That's how simple it is. But from the next statement onwards, it gets complex. He says, and Mary is, now when he says Mary is, he's talking about the current age of Mary. Mary is twice as old as Anne was. Now here when he has used the word was, he's referring to some other age of Anne. So Mary is twice as old, twice as old as Anne was. So this is some other instance. So far till this point, even in case of this word Mary here, he is referring to the present instance. But the moment he says Anne was, he is referring to some other instance. Anne was when Mary was half as old as Anne will be. Now here also when Mary was is referring to the same instance which is Anne was. But then at that time Mary was half as old as Anne will be. Now this is the third instance. Anne will be, he says. When Anne is 3 times as old as Mary was. Now this is another instance, the fourth instance, right? When Mary was 3 times as old as Anne. So I think there are total 4 different instances here, right? One is the present instance where the sum of their ages is 44. And then there are 3 other instances. So we have to frame the equations for each one of this instance and then try and solve. But looks like we'll get multiple variables. I'm not sure if there are 4 instances, there are 8 variables, because for each instance we'll have 2 variables, right? So how old is Mary is the question. How old is Mary? You getting it? So let's try it out. I think we'll do one thing. We will at least frame the equations, then see what happens. So let's assume the present ages. Present ages are M and A, right? Present ages of Mary and Anne are M and A. So the combined ages of Mary and Anne are 44 years. So M plus A equals to 44, right? I'm referring to this statement, the combined ages statement. Combined ages of Mary and Anne are 44. Now, and Mary is twice as old as Anne was. Mary is twice as old as Anne was. Now remember, when you read this part of the statement, Mary is twice as old as Anne was. This is another equation. Mary is, he says. What is Mary is means? Mary's present age. Mary is equal to twice as old as Anne was. Now Anne was means he's referring to, sorry. Anne was here means he's referring to some other instance, right? Which is, Mary is twice as old as, 2 times as old as Anne was, some other age, A dash, let's say. Right? What is this equation pertaining to this one? Mary is twice as old as Anne was. You're able to follow? So Mary is means present age of Mary, as Anne was, some other age of Anne. You getting it? Then read the next part. When Mary was half as old as Anne will be. When Mary was half as old as Anne will be. Now, if you read the next part, what do you understand? When Mary was half as old as Anne will be. See, Mary is twice as old as Anne was when Mary was. See, this Anne was and Mary was, this refer to the same instance. Let me just highlight. Here we're talking about Anne was, right? At the same time, Mary was. At the same time, Mary was. When means what? At the same time, Mary was half as old as Anne will be. Now again, Anne will be is a third instance. You're able to follow? This is the third instance. Anne will be is the third instance. So Mary is twice as old as Anne was. We have got M equals to 2 times of A dash. When Anne's age was A dash, Mary's age will be M dash, let's say. So that we are like consistent, right? M and A are present ages. M dash and A dash are ages at that instance. So when Anne's age was A dash, Mary's age was M dash. So Mary is twice as old as Anne was at that time. When Mary was, Mary's age will be M dash, half as old as Anne will be. Mary's age will be half as old as Anne will be. Anne will be A double dash. He's again now talking about third instance, right? So what do we say? This we are taking as Mary was half as old as Anne will be. Anne will be. Again, let me highlight using a different color the instance that we are referring to. The highlighter, right? Anne will be. Now Anne will be is one instance. When Anne is. So Anne will be and Anne is. These are two same ages, right? Both of them refer to the same ages, right? When Anne is 3 times as old as Mary was. 3 times as old as Mary was. Now read it again. Right? See, we have reached this point so far, right? Mary was half as old as Anne will be. Anne will be is what? A double dash. When Anne is, so at that time Anne is. At that time Anne is how much? A double dash. Anne's age is how much? A double dash. Is 3 times as old as Mary was. 3 times as old as Mary was. This is third instance, M triple dash. M triple dash. Right? And is 3 times as old as Mary was. When Mary was 3 times as old as Anne. Look at this now. I'll highlight the third common part there, right? So Anne is 3 times as old as Mary was. This is the point we have reached. When 3 times as old as Mary was. When Mary was. So again, we are referring to the same age of Mary. When Mary was 3 times as old as Anne. 3 times as old as Anne. So all that has been highlighted, right? In 2 yellows, 2 greens and 2 oranges means the same instance at that instance. You're getting it? So we have formed this equation so far. A double dash equals to 3M triple dash. What is that equation? Anne is 3 times as old as Mary was. When Mary was 3 times as old as Anne. When Mary was 3 times as old as Anne. At that time, Mary was 3 times as old as Anne. At that time Mary was. So at that time, Mary was how much? M triple dash. Same orange only, right? M triple dash. At that time, Mary was 3 times as old as Anne. 3 times as old as Anne. What was Anne's age at that time? A triple dash. If Mary's age is M triple dash, Anne's age will be A triple dash. Which instance are we talking about? Anne is 3 times, Mary was 3 times as old as Anne. You're getting it? So I'll highlight. In the first step, when we said Mary and Anne, we are taking the ages as M and A. Mary is M only. Twice as old as Anne was. Here we're talking about a separate instance, which is A dash. At that time, Mary was M dash. Right? Half as old as Anne will be. This is a third instance of Anne's age, which is A double dash. When Anne is, so same instance of Anne's age, A double dash. 3 times as old as Mary was. This is another instance of Mary's age, which is M triple dash. When Mary was, so same instance of Mary's age, M triple dash. As old as Anne. At that time, Anne was A triple dash. Now it's very easy to understand the statements, right? So M plus A equals to 44. M is 2 times of A dash. M dash is half of A double dash. A double dash is 3 times of M triple dash, and M triple dash is 3 times as old as A triple dash. See, I told you there are different instances, so there are different variables that get formed. I mean, there will be multiple variables. How many variables have we got so far? 1, 2, like M dash, M double dash is not there, but M dash, M triple dash, A dash, A double dash, A triple dash. So I think 8 variables, right? 7, 8 variables. 7, 8 variables already. And we have got only 5 equations. So how do we solve? We need more equations, right? How old is Mary? How old is Mary as in M has to be calculated. M is equal to what is the question? M is equal to what? It's still not easy. I'm not saying that it's over. It's not over. We have just converted the given sentences, all these sentences. That's why I've put the sentences in brackets, right? We have converted these sentences into equations. But the problem is we have got 5 equations with more than 5 variables. If there are only 5 variables, we could have worked on solving these equations. But there are more than 5 variables, right? So we'll have to look for more equations. What more equations will be there? What more equations can be formed? Just think about it. No, what more equations can be formed? I'm sure there will be more equations which we are not able to find. See, something which is like always hidden, like whenever we're talking about the ages of 2 persons at 2 different instances, let's say there are 2 persons, A and B. So their present ages are A and B. After 3 years, their ages will be A dash and B dash, let's say. It's like A plus 3 and B plus 3, right? So after some years, their ages will be A dash and B dash. Present ages are A and B. After X years, their ages are, or after some time, their ages are A dash and B dash. The point is the difference between their ages will always remain constant, right? Whether it is specified or not in the question, the difference between the ages always remains constant. Which means, can I say M minus A is equal to M dash minus A dash is equal to M double dash minus A double dash is equal to M triple dash minus A triple dash? Just think about this. The reason for this is difference in ages is always constant. Difference in ages is always constant. You understand? M and A are the present ages. M dash A dash are ages at some instance. M dash M double dash A double dash ages at some other instance. And M triple dash and A triple dash ages at a third instance or a fourth instance. So the difference between their ages is always going to be constant. If the difference between my age and my friend's age today is 3 years, after 7 years also the difference will remain 3 years. After 20 years also the difference will remain 3 years, because both of us are growing together. So I think here we get more equations. M minus A equals to M dash minus A dash is one equation. M dash minus A dash equals to M double dash minus A double dash is one equation. Similarly, M minus A is M double dash minus A double dash, third equation. M double dash minus A double dash equals to M triple dash minus A triple dash, fourth equation, and so on. So I think now we have got multiple equations for all these multiple variables, 8 variables that we have. And in fact, we've got more than 8 equations, right? More than 8 equations. So 8 variables, more than 8 equations, I think we should be able to solve, right? But I am not interested in doing this. I mean, I would have skipped this in the exam. First thing in the exam that I would do is skip. 1 second solution, just skip and go to the next one. But interesting question, right? So I think you should be able to frame these equations. It's all about converting that English sentence into mathematical equations. If you're able to do that properly, you'll be able to solve. But not worth solving, right? I mean, even if you want to solve it in the exam, it doesn't really make sense in my view. And the only number we know is M plus A equals to 44. So now play with all these things and solve it. I mean, I would love to do it myself. I would do it offline and see what the answer is. But looks like most common answer that I have seen that has been posted by you guys is 27.5. That Mary's percentage should be 27.5. So you can try that. Maybe you can go by options. I think that's an easier way to do it, right? Like if Mary's percentage is 16.5, if Mary's percentage is 16.5, you can say Anne's percentage is whatever, 44 minus 16.5. Then you can substitute M 16.5 here, get A dash. Substitute, A dash. Once you get A dash, you can get M dash. Why? Because M minus A equals to M dash minus A dash. So substitute that M dash here, get A double dash. Substitute that A double dash here, get M triple dash. Substitute M triple dash, get A triple dash. And then see if it is satisfying the equations or not. I think going by options is the easiest thing. If you don't want to solve the equations, just go by options. The best solution is skip. Solution number 1 is skip. Solution number 2 is write down all these equations and then go by options. Verify from options. Verify using options. That's the best part, right? I mean, the biggest advantage that we have in bank exams is there are options. So verify using options. Verify these equations using options. You've understood what I'm trying to say. If you substitute M equals to 16.5 here, you will get A. Substitute the same M here, 16.5, you'll get A dash. Once you have got A dash, see, you already know M and A. You know M and A and you know A dash. Can you find out M dash? Yes. From this equation. Substitute that M dash here. You'll get A double dash. From that A double dash, can you find out M double dash? Yes. Because you know M and A, you know A double dash, you can get M double dash. Once you get A double dash or M double dash, put it here. A double dash you put here, you'll get M triple dash. M triple dash you put here, you'll get A triple dash. And then check if M triple dash, A triple dash, all these are satisfying or not. You getting it? Or directly going by differences, find out all these values. Once you get M and A, you find out what is M dash, A dash, M double dash, A double dash, M triple dash, A triple dash. Because difference is going to be constant. Then substitute this M dash, M double dash, M triple dash, A dash, A triple dash, A double dash in these 4 equations that we have got and see if the equations are balanced. If yes, that's the answer. Otherwise, go to the next option. And if you think this is time consuming, you are absolutely correct. This is time consuming. And that is the reason it doesn't make any sense in trying out in the exam. So the best way to solve this question in the exam is to just skip and go to the next one. However, the solution is there in front of you on your screens. Calculation is left to you. Try it yourself. All right. So interesting one. We can still ask Sylvia to verify if we have understood the statements properly, right? I mean, I am sensing that it's correct. The equations are correct. I will try and solve with the numbers offline. And with this, I think we'll close the session here. We have more questions from quantitative aptitude, but we will take those in our next live doubts clarification session on quant, or in our refresher sessions if the questions are found to be relevant to SSC CGL exam. Okay. Very interesting question, by the way, right? I'm only waiting to try this out myself now. Chalo, let's close it here. Thank you all for joining us in this session. I hope it has helped you enhance your learning and confidence for the upcoming exams, especially the CGL exam, which is just 3 weeks away from now. And like I mentioned in the beginning of the session and throughout, practice is the key. The more you practice, the easier it gets. So make sure that you practice as much as you can in these remaining 3 weeks that you have, so that you can boost your chances of selection. I'll see you all in the next session. I think your next session will be on Tuesday at 6 p.m., which is gonna be a refresher for the SSC CGL exam. All of you can join that. So do join us in that session. I am not sure about the topic, if it is quant or reasoning or English language, but then yes, do join us in that session. Until then, keep practicing and take very good care of yourselves. Bye.